The reduction in economic activity as a result of the COVID-19 outbreak in Uganda affected tax revenue collections and led to significant shortfalls. Uganda, at the same time, was faced with a number of expenditure pressures on both economic and health fronts, which government needed to respond to urgently to save lives. Government increased its borrowing levels, which saw an increase in public debt from 41% of GDP in June 2020 to 48.4% in June 2022. However, Ministry of Finance Debt Sustainability Analysis report indicates that the debt is sustainable and is projected to reduce in the medium term.
Challenge in the past of whenever we need revenue, we think of a new tax or increasing the tax rate. Those new taxes and tax rates used to fall on perhaps on the same taxpayer. Today, our strategy is to enforce compliance and ensuring that we bridge all those gaps we've been having.
Uganda has good policies which are never implemented. Experts say institutional weaknesses affect the budget and undermine private sector investment, emphasizing that giving exemptions to entities and policy consistency needs to be looked into.
Shift it to the private sector, but you also grow the private sector. You also remove the burden on you on servicing vehicles at over-invoiced prices, because Toyota and Motorcare and others would not over-invoice when they are servicing their own car. So the corruption, you park it there. That gives you many benefits. Social and economic service provision should be based on standards, based on statistics, evidence, not political jurisdictions. We cannot say we must have a primary school in every parish.
Ministry of Finance, going forward, has put in place a tax exemption rationalization plan as a discipline of tracking activities of investors.
But number one, to put in place a criteria for accessing them. Number two, to put in place a tracking system to ensure that what an investor commits to do, he does it. These incentives are not perpetual. At a certain point, they will end and you have to pay tax.
Government is to enforce tax collection compliancy in a situation where there is no saving culture and lack of instruments to attract savings. Experts emphasize that revenue can only be unlocked when households and businesses are investing.
Be in a position to increase taxes by supporting business startups. Don't simply tax more the same person, but create a bigger tax base. Let's have more businesses in the country so that these businesses can pay tax.
Meanwhile, Ministry of Finance projects that real GDP growth will increase to over 7% at the start of commercial oil production, whose takeoff is expected to happen in 2025. I'm Nafka Farida and Dan Lugemwa in Kampala.